like that proof. And that's what they need, like, is that energy to survive. Like, this has literally said everything that we've said today.
What I'm thinking.
Conduit?
What's a conduit? A conduit is...
Yes, I think...
No, yeah.
Hey, what's up guys? This is your boy Anthony, or you can call me A1 Solution. We're going to be talking about why Sam and Colby saved the Stanley series, and the fans did help. But before we get into that, I have a fan theory that I do want to get into. So here's a theory for you guys. When I heard Jackie, I didn't think about the tour guide. I thought of something way back and before the Sally House. Amanda said that the spirit attached to Sam is not family and is from before the Sally House. They asked whoever they were speaking with to, if they are not Lucy, give them their name. The obvious saying Jackie had immediately made me think of the Queen Mary, which was one of the first haunted places they investigated. At the Queen Mary, there is a little girl who is located in the pool that was closed because of her death and the constant children getting pulled underwater. Her name was Jackie. Add on, when doing the Estes method, the spirit said it wanted power to be alive. If I'm correct, the Queen Mary has been shut down and closed to visitors. So without the people's energy, Jackie would have been unable to hold the power that she wanted and not be able to live on as a spirit. To me, this makes stupid sense. So what if Jackie really had attached herself to Sam all these years? So that is a little theory, and I want to know what people think about that theory. But that is a very eerie and strange story. But to get into the video, this video is going to be about, how, the first movie series with Corey Shear kind of ruined it. Him running out, him, not wanting to be there, him, almost getting them kicked out and stuff like that. And also the one funny thing is when Sam and Colby show a flashback to the old Stanley movie, or the first movie of the Stanley, the flashback is Corey kind of like
investigation.
And the Stanley is the most famous and most haunted in the United States. I did not know that. That's something I did not know. They stated that in the video. The Estes method was created at the Stanley Hotel, and in this field they met the founder who started the whole Estes method. When they do the Estes method, it absolutely blows my mind at the end of the video where, Amanda, I'm gonna get to it, but Amanda gets like super mad, and she starts to protect Sam a little bit. She's like, wait a second, we're using Colby as a antenna, we're actually communicating.
Gone in season 2 is just like being that sort of meditative like person instead of freaking out in every situation.
With something. So I thought that was very interesting. And the one thing I did know this, but I thought I'd share just in case if anyone's new or something like that. But Stephen King made The Shining because of the Stanley. I guess there was a day where it was super cold, and it was similar to what the Stanley Our Return video was all about, all snowy and stuff like that. And Stephen King had an instance where they couldn't drive farther. They stopped at this hotel, and he ended up having a thought in his head at a certain point, smoking on a cigarette, and then he ended up making The Shining. And I guess he had a dream or something like that too as well, and the dream was different from what the movie is, but he kind of like got that inspiration from that and kind of like turned it into his own thing, which is kind of cool. I need to see The Shining again. I haven't seen that movie in forever. They made it to the Stanley in the snow, and it definitely looks a lot different in the snow, because they did mention that it looks different in the snow. Oh yeah, the place looks different. Even the maze area. The place where Jake smacked his head on the stairs. So there's a part where they kind of like get inside the Stanley, and they're kind of just looking around and looking at the mirrors and the vortexes and all that stuff. They got back to the spot where Jake hit his head with the lollipop, and how there's a lollipop, and how lollipops are kind of like a trigger warning to ghosts and stuff like that. Yeah, right there. When they first got to the room, they had a hard time opening the door. So I wonder if they have like a door problem or something like that. And they were also talking about in this video that they wanted to go to 217, but they couldn't because they were renovating. So they had to choose different rooms and stuff like that. And I gotta remember, if they went to part 3, I'm gonna caption here. and I'm gonna watch part 3 and just kind of just watch it. But you know, I wanted to make this video because I just want to share, like, you know, this series is better. You know, they're so much more grown. They've experienced so much. Colby talks about something, I'm gonna get to it, but Colby talks about how, you know, he wants to like not run, he wants to like be a receiver, he wants to receive this and, you know, gain as much information and knowledge of what's going on and like what's following them. Is it Sam? And I think in the beginning they said that, you know, it was they thought it was Colby, but it was actually Sam, because Amanda said, hey, like, you know, like my mom said, hey, it's not Colby, it's actually Sam.
And it wasn't a family member and it wasn't a friend, it was just like an entity with you.
Why did you think to tell me about it?
And one thing I want to get to too is, I think, you know, when you're haunted or you got like something following you, like an attachment, I wonder if these like vortexes, these like, you know, these paranormal hotspots are kind of like ways for these kind of beings, these entities to gain more power, more energy.
Well, the fact that it's like starting to do things makes me wonder if going to these places,
It's like giving it power in a weird way.
yeah, like,
So, does that mean you believe in attachments?
I think so. I think it's possible.
Great.
And that's what that's what the theory goes into too, is like, you know, maybe the energy, you know, just it needs the power, the energy, the humans, you know, the flesh, I guess you would say. And when they get back to the room, they went with Corey and Jake, but in this video they're with Amanda and Mackie. So they went back into the cowboy room, you know, where the seat is, and they did the seance and all that stuff. They went back to that room, which I thought was a cool little throwback. I'm kind of glad they did that instead of 217. And then I'm pretty sure they do a part 3, because they did get the like goal. They got like 700,000 likes or something like that. This is why they saved the Stanley series. Like, all this, like, just they've grown so much. Like, they haven't backtracked. They've gone forward. And, you know, Corey, you know, like, the reason why I said Corey ruined the first one was because I feel like I feel like they could have gotten so much better evidence, but with the whole fallout, like, well, obviously the fallout's way later. Obviously, someone commented and said, hey, do you know the fallout was before the or after the Stanley? I'm like, yeah, I've been making videos for a long time now. Been watching for 7+ years, so yeah, I know. But thank you for that. And Amanda immediately felt some energy while walking into the Stanley. That's one thing I want to note is, you know, she instantly felt something. And the one thing I want to note is the employee guy, he talks about how there's like these quartz. I'm gonna Google it and I'm gonna post it, like what it is. I'm gonna talk about it later, and, you know, I'll post it then. But, you know, it talks about something and how the Stanley is on top of it, and it kind of like uplifts and kind of like creates more spiritual things than you would want, right? But Sam talked about how they've been to 7 different places and how they keep getting the same answer over and over again. Are they haunted? Is something following them? I'm very curious on that. Do you think they're getting followed? Attachment, picking him out, you know, kind of like wanting to, you know, be with him because he's so famous, he's so popular, he's able to travel places, you know what I mean? Do haunted so this is one thing that I talked about just now, but I'm gonna say it again. Do haunted locations amp up the attachments? Like, if you have an attachment but enter a haunted place with other spirits and paranormal stuff going on, i.e. portals or something like that, would that make your attachment worse in a sense, making it more prevalent and known? Amanda's mom, yeah, I talked about this, how she said the stuff. Going back to the medium in the first movie, where they talked about the medium, talking about the dark future and all that stuff. I don't think she was talking paranormal. That's one thing I want to talk about, is I really do think she was not talking about paranormal. So the one thing I said here is, I don't think she was talking paranormal when she said dark future. But what Colby was gonna fight is cancer, and then the medium said he'll live a healthy life. She's clearly speaking on, this is me going back to the Stanley in the first movie, the very first movie, where the medium talks about Colby and Corey and how they're gonna have a dark future. And so I want to go back to this. Okay, going back to the medium in the first movie, where I talked about the medium predicting Colby and Corey's dark future, i.e. overnight. I don't think she was talking paranormal when she said dark future to Colby, because Colby, she said, Colby fought cancer, and she said you're gonna live a long and healthy life. So that means she's saying something towards his health. like those specific words, she can't say exactly what she's saying because it's obviously, you know, ruining with life and all that stuff, but she clearly states, you know, your health and well-being, and you're gonna have a healthy life. Like that's, she's kind of like throwing like a subliminal there, like saying like, hey, something's gonna happen, but I can't say it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it was anything to do paranormal. You know what I mean? I think it was more so about the cancer stuff. So I did want to, you know, just a little thought there. I wanted to go back to the Stanley video really quick for a second. She said Sam's attachment wasn't a bad spirit from what she says. From when she first met Sam had an attachment, so she felt that off of him. So before, whenever, you know, like before she met him, he had something. I talked about this earlier in my video, but they mentioned about how they're having an attachment. Would that give power to that attachment in a way? The places they go to have high energy, fear, tragedy happens, as Amanda said. These entities probably like going to these places. They kind of like suction cup for that. Like they look for people who want to go that, because if you have someone who wants to go that, that's gonna feed a lot of energy to that entity, to that spirit or whatever, right? What's crazy is Amanda saw a child at the dinner the night before. Sam and Colby said, we haven't put anything out on this yet, and they're freaking out. They're like, yo, like we haven't said anything to Amanda or Mackie, none of that. You know,
it was like the height of like a child.
Yeah, I was like, and I said it was.
Oh, wait, okay, I'm so sorry for interrupting, but like, she did not just say that.
Again, we haven't put anything out about this.
No.
And because they're like, holy smokes, like Amanda is just like proving that she's kind of real about a lot of these things. You know, she's not faking it, and it kind of freaks me out a little bit. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way. It's just, holy crap, like this is actually kind of real a little bit. You know what I mean? This medium stuff, because like if Amanda can feel all these things, so could other mediums. Maybe there's different kinds of I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Oh yeah, so she said it's the height of a child, so it kind of clarifies it's a child, but it could be imitating a child and pretending to be a child. They talked for a bit and brought up the Sally house. Amanda said she saw a little girl when she was like 10 or 12, which is connected to Sally house, which is kind of interesting. So she's saying that she kind of saw Sally?
Little girl in my room. The only thing that he ever said about it was like, Amanda, I want you to know that I've seen that little girl too. And that was the end. That was the end of the discussion. We never mentioned it again. And years later, I'm in high school watching like BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah.
And the Sally house came up, and they showed this drawing rendition. I'm shaking thinking about her. Sleeves, the braids, the ribbons in her hair. That was the little girl that used to come visit me in my house.
Sally was never real. Sally disguised themselves as a little girl and lured people, and that's what they said in the video. I think Amanda or Sam said that, and that's kind of something I agree with. I feel like they were trying to like manipulate and kind of like try to get kind of like a Pennywise or something like that, like it's it, you know what I mean? And why would he have an attachment and be followed? I wonder why this ghost would follow them. Maybe I said this already, but I'm gonna say it again, because they're so popular and the ghosts knew they travel far and wide into many places. It's a good way to escape. Latching onto people with desire and inspiration is just a scary thing, though. You know what I mean? Just a theory, though. Nothing true. Just a little theory that I wanted to throw out there. I thought it was very interesting. And also, do you think the Stanley is a massive vortex? That's one thing that's been kind of roaming through my head. And then it's funny too, because Colby actually kind of stated this. He said the Disneyland for ghosts. So this is like the place where they would rather be at than any other place, or not just any other place, but they would go to kind of use, if portals are real, if they're able to use portals to kind of like dip around to certain places faster. That's just mind blowing. If that's true, like. Man, yeah, it's like video games, you know what I mean? You go through a portal. If you ever play like Portals, or I think like Doom has that. Sometimes you go through something, right?
Guys, like we were saying before, this is a Disneyland for the spirits here. This was actually just a resort for normal people when it was.
And Colby Brock said it's like we never left. And what's weird is when I was watching that movie, it really did feel like they never left. It was so weird. As soon as they walked in, I'm like, whoop. Got back all the way straight to the movie with Corey and all that. I just had a straight flashback, and it's crazy. It's so funny that he said that, and that's the first thing I thought when I watched the Stanley, our return video, the video I'm talking about now. Coming back with 3 years of experience, they have a medium and the founder of the Estes method. So they're gonna talk to the Estes method soon here. And it's just so mind-blowing that, you know, this dude started the Estes method at the Stanley when Stephen King went to the Stanley. Also, Jim Carrey went to the Stanley too. Fun fact, by the way, I guess the Stanley is called the Stanley because of the guy named F.O. Stanley. Long story short, he was a very wealthy dude, and he got a sickness, headed toward the Stanley area with higher altitude, and got healed and ended up building a hotel there. He was 53 years old roughly, and I just thought it was a very interesting story, the fact that this dude healed. Was it luck? Was it the high altitude? Like, why would high altitude help with a sickness? That's very interesting. If anyone knows down below, is that true? Like, why would that happen though if that is true? I would love to know. More people head to Stanley in the summer. No one really comes in the winter. The place just gets plowed with snow. And then I talked about this already, but back to Stephen King. He ran into the snow in the near future. Blah blah. I've told it already. They tried to get the Stephen King room in the Stanley, but the room was under renovation. Since this happened, they went for a part 3. Talked about that already. Jim Carrey talked about that already. Sam and Colby talked a bit about the vortex and how a vortex is a portal. It's a way to kind of come back and forth. It's kind of like a Harry Potter or something like that. You know what I mean? Kind of interesting.
People down.
Vortex. Right there.
Oh, Vortex, yes! Oh my god!
So we originally.
Stanley was on the news and articles, and the Stanley has some crazy proof in pictures. Just a lot of pictures. I've seen some pictures, and some of them I can't even understand. Like, just how they got. I wonder what kind of camera they're using, like the time of day. You know, I don't know. It's just very interesting how a picture can do that. Like, but some of those photos are kind of eerie. They talked about Lucy and speculate if Lucy is real or not. When they talk to the Stanley employee, he mentions that the entire place is on top of limestone quartz, and I am going to Google that, and I'm going to put it here. And he said, the dude said, this is a spiritual battery / rock. It's like a you know, a Tesla or something like that. You know, electrical powered. It's a bunch of energy that's laying underneath the Stanley, which is very interesting. So they're getting so much evidence and no more running away. That's the one thing I like about Sam and Colby, is they're not running away. They're not straying away from what they're trying to do, and that's why I say, you know, they're actually recovering and making the first movie better than what it should have been. You know what I mean? And I feel like just the whole Corey stuff, you know, just him running, man. Oh my god, bro, watching it again and again and again, I keep seeing it, I'm like, bro, like, why? Stop leaving. Every time I'm just sitting there like, don't leave. Just sitting there, just like getting ready, throwing my popcorn in there or something like that. Just don't leave. It is just leave it every time on repeat. It's like the freaking Matrix. So from the first Stanley movie to our return to this one, to the second part, shows how much they've really grown in a few good years. You know what I mean? They've definitely grown, and they've learned so much. I think they talked about how they started doing the Estes method like 6 months before this video.
You kind of take a more scientific approach to it, right?
Sure. I'm really device-based. I appreciate having instruments. That said, I've learned a lot about the human body as an instrument as well.
Oh.
Being here in the world, they can't hear anything that's going on around them, and they say what they hear come over the box. The other people in the room are the questioners.
In the future?
For sure. Not only have I spent, trying not to brag, like probably 200 hours like listening to the box, sort of being under.
So the Estes method was created in Estes Park, Colorado, by a guy named Connor Randall at the Stanley Hotel. He's the founder of the Estes method. Connor believes it's haunted because people believe it's haunted. So he's pretty much saying people manifested that so many people believe in this place being haunted that it kind of just creates a hauntedness. And he also says that maybe people are the ones haunted, not the places. He talks about that as well. Then it switches back to the other employee, the guy in the red, the dude that's kind of like showing him around and stuff like that. And then he says, are the ghosts on a loop? Are they on a replay? They talk about the concert hall a little bit. That's one thing I think about too, is like maybe the stone or maybe the building, like maybe because all these things happen, maybe these buildings are able to project, and kind of like a projector, you know, kind of certain times, certain ways of lighting, maybe it picks up like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like it's something's definitely happening. because there's definitely a lot of just instances of people talking about it from across the world too. It's not just like America. It's everywhere. We've seen it. It's just why does this happen? Why does this phenomena happen? Let's see. Amanda brought up spiritual parties, and the guy was like, whoa, wait a second. You know, we're gonna talk about Ouija boards in a second. You know, because it's so crazy. It's so weird because she brought that up before the guy was even talking about it. So it just shows, like, you know, her medium stuff is. It just shows how legit it is. It's legit, bro. Like, she talked about something she didn't even know about, brought it up, and the guy's like, wait a second, I'll talk about it later. Like, this dude knew about it too. He was about to talk about it soon, and she was already on it before him. The guy that actually knew and she didn't, which is pretty wild to me. It just shows how real that stuff is a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Can you guys take a guess to how she entertained the wives?
Ouija board sesh?
Not quite.
Damn it.
Seances?
Seances.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know if they used to have like spiritual parties here and stuff?
And then we switch back to the Estes guy. He says, or someone says, is the story of Lucy true? Connor said, it was either Sam or Colby that said that. And then Connor said, Lucy is pretending to be a girl. So that's what I was saying, like, you know, like, I feel like this Lucy girl or whatever could either be a real person, real girl, or it could be like a cover-up, a mask, trying to pretend to be a girl, you know what I mean? That's one thing I was thinking of. And then Connor has heard singing, voices, and other things. And then it switches back to the other employee. And then they were looking at Mackie, and Mackie apparently got scratched on her neck. I don't know if it was a scratch or maybe she was just like, you know, rash or whatever. She did have a red mark on there. They were talking about Lucy near the tunnel and basement and talked about some other stories at that point. Back to the Estes Method guy, they talked about a guy named Eddie that followed Connor home, and he accidentally left an open invitation for him, for the ghost. He didn't really have the experience to like say, hey, like, you know, you can't follow me, you can't come this way, you can't, you know, blah blah blah. And he learned, you know what I mean? But you know, that's what's so cool about life, is we learn every single day about something new. And you know, at a point, this dude that's telling all this like facts, all these things that he's learned, he didn't know at a certain point, which is the same thing with Sam and Colby, you know what I mean? But you know, on and on. Back to the other employee, the dude that's taking them around, escorting them around in the red, and Jackie. The mirror in the basement, is it haunted? We've seen some people take pictures, a bunch of people take pictures. We even saw Sam and Colby. I think in the first movie, Sam and Colby took a picture. Remember, they had like something weird in the back. So there's that. There's 13 different spirits in there. That's what the employee Jackie said. He said there's 13 different spirits. They talked about that for a bit. I think going back to the Estes Method guy here, the Estes Method is a parapsychology, the study of mental phenomena which are excluded from or inexplicable by orthodox scientific psychology, such as hypnosis and telepathy, etc. One person is the receiver and the other is the asker. So it's kind of like you turning yourself into an antenna, a human antenna. So you're using your body as a messenger, in a sense. He gave some tips about what to do when they're doing the Estes method, i.e. calm down, relax, close eyes, kind of like, you know, maybe rock back and forth.
Now he's gonna be hearing stuff, and we want to make sure we can sort of direct the conversation and see if this is just radio noise or see if this is communication, right?
Get on a rocking chair or something like that, you know what I mean? Before they wake them up, you got to make sure you tap them gently, you know what I mean? So if you're ever doing the Estes method out there, make sure you know, be gentle, you know what I mean? Don't want to like get them out of that, because it's like getting out of a trance, out of sleepwalking or something like that. You know, you can't just like wake them up like that, you know, so just gotta be careful. You become a conduit and you're sharing information, meaning people are the antenna. You get into your own little world and you just focus and pay attention to what's being said instead of what's around you. You're shutting down your senses of seeing and shifting that to your brain and thinking more than seeing. What's interesting, as I'm writing these notes, I'm watching Elton's new video, and they're on the stage drawing, and Patty said Sally, which is so interesting because I was watching Elton's video, the newest Overnight Channel video, and they were saying Sally, but Linda said she found bones, you know, a bit ago, and but it was just so interesting that it said Sally. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if Sally knows who Elton is. Like, maybe Sally, like, cause didn't Elton go to the same place? I don't know. Just a thought there about Sally. And I talked about this earlier, just saying it's a coincidence. It's interesting because the Sally person is a kid, but prayers to the kid though, because I don't really know for sure, but prayers. Linda found some bones, but they don't know who the bones are. They're trying to speculate, like, is this like a person? Is this like a animal or something like that? I'm just saying it's interesting that I'm making the Sam and Colby video, and they mentioned Sally, and now overnight mentioned Sally. A theory is Sally is using portals to travel to different people. Just a theory of mine. Amanda mentioned an Ouija board later on, but the employee talked about this later on because when Amanda mentioned this was earlier in the video, and he said he'll get to it. It's just interesting how Amanda knew. I did talk about that already. Back to the SS guy. AM and FM both work, by the way. Just a little tip and trick there. They both work, AM and FM. Colby talks about how he wants to work on being a receiver and that he doesn't want to run away, but stay relaxed and stay calm and stuff like that.
It's like being that sort of meditative like person instead of freaking out in every situation.
He doesn't want to freak out in every situation, pretty much. Connor mentions you can use 2 headphones at the same time using headphone splitters, so a little tip and trick there. When they're doing the SS method, I thought to myself that it's interesting when we're listening to music, we shake our heads. I don't know, just another thought. Watching this series, it's just so much more serious, and they have people they're talking to. It's just much more informal than the first movie with Corey in it. But the Stanley movie was good though. I mean, but they had because they didn't have much, on their mind. They had no knowledge of anything, no information on anything, and then because that's why it's so good, because they just didn't know anything. But the running away, I did hate a little bit. It's at a hotel. Maybe chill out, bro. Well, I'm so happy they were able to do this series some justice and come back. I really love this series. I don't know why. Mackie and Amanda recreate the Shining scene, so if you remember that. And then the investigation kind of starts. They had the 217 do the spirit box near the 217 door. Kind of freaky. They got some. They picked up some good stuff there. Some good replies there. The spooky reply was the horror. It said like the horror, right? They put red rum on the mirror for a throwback from the first one, the movie. Sam talks about how ghosts hate vacuums. I thought I'd throw that in here. And then Colby reminds us of Luigi's Mansion and how Luigi.
Imagine that's how we end the video.
All right.
You guys ever play Luigi Mansion? All they do is suck them ghosts up.
Vacuums the ghosts. The Ren pod went off right away when Colby talked about it. When they were in their room, the cowboy room, whatever, the one where we saw with the seance in the first movie with Corey. The cat ball went off and I find the cat ball moving so interesting. I've never seen a cat ball just go off randomly like that. You know what I mean? The cat ball going off on investigation is a really trippy thing to see. It really is, man. When they pan back to the concert hall, this concert hall is absolutely creepy at nighttime. It's just, you can't see nothing without these. I mean, obviously it's nighttime, you can't see nothing, but it's just so creepy. It's just such a big place. It's like a freaking mansion. It's just eerie. The one thing about this episode is they were going to go to more places and explore more, because last time they went to the concert hall and it was having a construction going on or something like that. So if you remember from the Stanley, the movie part with Corey and Jake, they went to the concert hall, but they couldn't get inside because they had construction stuff going on. So they had to do it again the second time. So just in case people missed that or whatever, forgot about that. They had a ton of experiences where the lights turned on in a certain room, and they thought they thought Jackie was messing with them, and they went out and checked and nothing, because they were inside the room and they looked outside and there was a light that just went boom, turned on. They were like, wait, is this a sensor light? They moved on and they grabbed Boo Buddy, and the thing is so creepy. It really is. I mean, hi, I'm Boo Buddy. You're my friends. let's play, you know, like stuff like that, you know what I mean? Reminds me of Elmo. I had Elmo nightmares. Then they hear Jackie on the Ovulus, but I talked about this theory in the beginning, how, you know, this Jackie could be someone from the Queen Mary, maybe, or something. Who knows? Let me know. Let me know. I love there was a certain point where Amanda was protecting Sam and making sure he didn't get attached, because as they were doing the Estes method, you know, we'll get to this in a second here. When they're doing the Estes method in the basement, they clearly had some stuff answered to them saying they're being followed, it's me, you know, etc. So what they're saying, what was going on is everything they've been talking about is happening tonight. And I wonder if the theory is real, if it did come from the Queen Mary. When Amanda heard "Take Me," that was bone chilling because she knew like something was up. As soon as she saw that, you look at her face, she was like, "Oh my god." She was like, "We're clearly talking through Colby right now." During the Estes method, they got a lot of crazy evidence. This series is not only better than the movie, but a ton of evidence that seems to come together in a way. This really shows how much better it is without Corey. And this movie series was way better, and this series shows how much they have grown up, how much they've learned, and how different things have gone in the path of their channel. You know what I mean? It's really true. Watching this Estes method session really got me thinking this stuff is real, and they're definitely picking something up. All the answers are so accurate and precise, from power to it's me, etc. This Estes method that they did here was so everything they were asking was like literally bouncing right back to them, or what they were asking and the answers came back were just daunting. Like just the fact that, you know, that they're so accurate.
What do you want with Sam?
For energy to be alive and is dangerous.
That's what I'm saying, how I'm like, Ruben, you want, like, you'll scare yourself. Yes. You'll scare yourself.
I think...
No,
I don't know exactly what it means, but Connor was saying you have to become a conduit.
It's crazy. It's crazy. They were having a legit conversation through Colby. Even Colby answered conduit. And that's what I like to say myself, you know, conduit. And I'm gonna show a clip in the beginning too as well. You saw that already, but you know she says conduit, or he says conduit, and they were like, I'm surprised Amanda didn't know what a conduit is, but it's someone that, you know, wants to share like a message. You know, obviously this is all hypnosis, somewhat. You know what I mean, telepathy, or somewhat. You know what I mean, when you're doing the Estes method. And I think that's what's happening. I think he's turning into an antenna. I do believe that. I mean, the more I see it, the more evidence I see on this. It's just. You can't say it's not real. It's something's happening. It's too perfect. You know what I mean? And then Colby said red stairs, and then that's where they started to freak out. They were like, wait a second, we heard this earlier. So they were like, yo, we gotta stop this. And then the one thing about the red light, this is a little fun fact. I'm gonna Google this and find this, and if I don't, I'm just gonna cut this out. But the one thing about the red light, they used to have red night vision color. But the reason why they don't do it no more is because they had an instance in Vietnam, and they had red night vision, and they said they saw demons, and they started shooting rapidly, and at that point they switched over to the night vision green. So that's a little weird factor. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna find, if I can't, I'm gonna just cut this out. Things got really deep when Sam sat down in between the vortex. Yeah, so at the end of this video, he kind of like sits down in between the vortex, and he was just like, hey, like, you know, you can't follow me, you can't, you know, come home with me, you gotta stay here, go wherever you want to go, just, you can't, I don't give you the power to stick with me, follow me, you know what I mean, all this stuff. And you know, he got really deep, and they, you know, pretty much said you can't follow me, and I just thought it was a really deep moment. It's a really sentimental, just very heartfelt moment, you know what I mean?
With me for a long period of time. There's someone else here that knows me. I want you to listen.
So is the paranormal more psychological than we know? Are we the people haunted and not the places, or is it the places and not the people? Something to think about. Are people manifesting these occurrences? Is that something that's really happening? You know what I mean? Are we the ones manifesting these occurrences? What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe in attachments? Do you believe the vortex stuff is real? And the Estes method? Let me know down below, comment, and like the video. And you know, my final thoughts on this is this video was just so good through and through, like through and through, just so good. Like watching it and, you know, having like, you know, the employee coming around, that's also a plus. And also the Estes Method guy, the founder of the Estes Method. It's just, this episode is just 10 times better. Way better, no running away. Colby clearly states like, yo, like we're not running away no more. We're gonna listen and we're gonna try to get the best evidence we possibly can, you know what I mean? And I'm just so glad that they were able to bring it back, make the series better than what it should have been. I mean, the first movie's still good, you know what I mean? It's just, I just feel like some things kind of ruined the mood and the video and the vibes, but it was still a good video because at the end of the day, they had no idea what was going on, you know what I mean? And I just think that was really cool to see an experience in that because, you know, I'm sure I would have acted like that, but you know, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I might have been a little cooler about it. I mean, I'm not that scared about it, but I will definitely get scared if it gets too crazy if they try to possess me or something. but you know, I just want to say, you know, this series was, you know, 100% better. And this just shows and kind of just proves, you know, all the things I talked about. It just proves that this series was better. And you know, Sam and Colby pretty much saved this series. Sam and Colby saved this series. Fans helped. And this is the most famous, most popular haunted hotel out there. I recommend going. I recommend going in the snow or something because there's no one there. It's the best time to go, I guess. If they said there's no one there during, you know, the winter time or whatever. But you know, this series was bussin' fuego, bro. This series was fire. Just how much they've grown and how much they've changed and this was actually, I think they went to part 3 in Hell Week, I believe. But I think that's what they said. This was like 2 years ago, so they said like Hell Week 2 or whatever. But yeah, man. This Stanley Hotel series got saved. I'm glad they did. I'm glad the fans liked it up and gave them a chance to kind of like rebuttal that. And it's kind of cool to see that because I'm glad I learned the stuff I did, you know. I mean, seeing the dude that founded it talked about how he's done so many sessions that, you know, it's beating everyone pretty much, you know. And I wonder how long he kept it a secret. That's one thing I'm kind of curious about. Like, how long did he keep this as a secret? You know? Like, did he keep it because 2006? Like, maybe he waited a bit, like a few years or something like that. I don't know. But and I'm also, one thing I'm also curious about too is like, how did he figure it out? You know what I mean? Like, how did he figure out the Estes Method? Like, how did he say, hey, like, you know what, this works? And like that's one thing we'd never figured out, unless I missed it. Comment down below if anyone knows, but I might have missed it, or maybe someone's seen a video of his or something like that that he explains. Would be cool. Link it down below, I guess. Yeah, what a great video, man. I literally love this video so much more. I wrote it all down in my phone, so that just kind of proves that, you know, I enjoyed it, man, and I wanted to share things specifically, you know, to the T, you know what I mean? And but yeah, man, that's the video. Hopefully you have a great day. Stay safe, stay hydrated. And my name is A1 Solution. We out here busting fuego, chewing bubblegum, kicking butt, saving the day, knowing is half the battle. And make sure you take care, stay and be well, be well, be well, be well. And make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below.
Imagine that's how we end the video.
All right, I am cured. See you next time.
That's all we needed to do all along.